Greetings, year 33 MFL members. The season is taking shape. That is for sure. I'm going to go a little out of order this time. Here's our weekly report. It says the best manager was Steve. And basically, he got 91% of his possible points, which is a good thing. Again, just make sure that doesn't mean you're top heavy. Check that bench, especially with the bye weeks coming this week. Everyone check your bye weeks. And then get some waiver claims or some free agent claims as you can to fill in those gaps where you can. Speaking of bye weeks and speaking of benches, I had a member reach out to me this week and ask about return yardage, and I had mentioned it prior to last season. So this would I think be the second season we've had return yardage as a stat. So I think the player in question was Turpin, and yes, he is getting some points for returning some kicks. Honestly, it was something that I put in. Nobody objected. So if you missed it, now's the time to say something for next year. But I will say for the purposes of our league, I really feel like we need some points where we can get them, and especially with the bye weeks coming, look at your bench, see who's returning punts, see who's returning kickoffs, and you can get some points. Last year, Marvin Mims was the return yardage king. He just was kind of dominating that category. So don't go thinking you're really as destitute as all that. You probably have some options sitting there looking at you. So just know that's also a thing. If you are out of money again, you can bid zero on the waiver process tonight. If you don't get your bids, if you get outbid on everybody, then you can go in free agent style and start picking people up, add drop style starting tomorrow. So. And those, again, are all free. So don't go thinking also if you're out of money you can't do anything. That is not the case. Looks like our worst manager, I feel like that's a little bit harsh, was It's Connor. But again, I would just have y'all keep in mind if you got people on the bench scoring, that can't necessarily be all bad. You probably got some in-season options whenever these bye weeks come up. So that's not so bad. The biggest blowout was Kevin over Chance. I feel like our CDs team might be flailing a little bit. He's gonna need to make some trades, make some moves. Do something a little drastic here, I think, to maybe recover, because he's been hit with the injury bug pretty hard. Narrow victory. I think if there was a team that deserved one, it was definitely the Tulsa Quakenados. They have suffered through the kiss of death, the commissioner's kiss of death, up until now, and they squeak by West Canaan. So probably, again, still both of those teams going to be a force to be reckoned with. Highest score was John Toll. Lowest score was Chance. Overachiever, Ethan Nichols. That's always a good sign. When your team is beating their projections, that's usually a good thing. I will tell you my experience, sometimes week to week, that goes a little roller coastery. So if they exceeded a lot this week, they might not so much next week. But we'll see how that goes. And again, not only is Chance having injury problems, but his guys who are playing aren't matching their projections. He's having some trouble, that's for sure. QB of the week, Patrick Mahomes. It's been a while since he has been in that position. Look at this running back of the week. Kevin Rogers starts Ashton Genty, and he scores 32.5. That is a good sign for someone who spent some money on that rookie. I don't know if anyone's noticing here, but there was some criticism as far as our new player franchising Puka Nakua. That criticism came from me. I'll just say that right now. And then she went out and spent a bunch of money on Malik Neighbors. Well, Malik got hurt, so she's going to have to scramble a little bit, but Puka's been worth every penny. Man, that dude has been killing it. And then speaking of rookies, man, Tyler Warren for the Law Dogs, he was the best tight end. Kicker defense, we don't need to spend any time on that. Look at these bench warmers. Dak Prescott was on the bench and scored 37 points. Justice Hill, 42 points. There is a little rumbling, at least on the talk radio here locally, that the Derek Ravens running back, whose name escapes me right now, Henry, Derrick Henry, all may not be well there now that that team is losing some games and perhaps losing its quarterback. He might start grumbling a little. So Justice Hill might be a good one to have. And notice again who has that player, our new person here. Romeo Doubs sitting on the bench scoring 30. Dallas Goedert almost 20. And then there's a kicker and a defense. And then it looks like our new player has been making a little roster movage there with the dropping the Tampa Bay defense. Probably can't see it on the chat because I think my recording my face is probably in the way. But notice our standings here. And I find this to be interesting because, again, I have said any team that finishes to 500 or better, which by the end of the regular season will be 7-7, will be in the playoffs. As of now, believe it or not, we have 10 players, 10 teams that are 500 or better. And if we end up with that many, that's going to be tricky. Anything over 8 is going to be a little tricky. I will tell you, there is a way to add a week to the playoffs. We would have to use week 18, which a lot of people don't like. And if we don't want to do that, then what might have to happen is we have a little wild card week where maybe like three teams play against each other and the highest team advances, something like that. So I don't know. If I have made it too complicated, then maybe we'll figure out some tiebreakers when the time comes for that 8th spot, because 8 works. 8's easy. But if we get to 9 or 10, that's going to be a little tricky. But I just kind of feel like still, if you have 7 wins, you ought to make the playoffs. And I have a feeling also it'll probably still sort itself out by the end. But CDs just can't catch a break. He's still got the highest points against here with the little soft serve chocolate frozen yogurt in the eyeballs. And he's got some injuries, and he's got guys not meeting their projections, and it's really tough. I would point out, and this means nothing to anybody but me, I actually go into every season with the following goals. First 4 weeks, 1-3. If I'm 1-3, I'm fine. And believe it or not, 11 out of 12 of our teams in our league are fine. The only one kind of not meeting that is CDs. The next section of 4 games, I try to go 2-2, which means after 8 weeks, if I'm 3-5, I actually feel like I'm on pace. I'm fine. After that, I try to go 3-1, which, do the math, that turns into 6-6. And then I try to go 4-0, which means I'm finishing 8-6, getting in the playoffs, winning through the playoffs, and 4-0, 5-0, whatever it takes to get to the end. But you want to finish hot is what you want to do. You don't necessarily want to start hot. That being said, we're going to start at the bottom this time. San Antonio knocks off Leavenworth in a grudge match for the ages. These two have been going at this for something like 33 years now. And again, I think both teams are probably going to be there, at least relevant in the end, that's for sure. High scoring affair there, 161-147. Our new player is 3-1, and she put it on the ass kissers. So maybe the ass kissers should have stayed as the ass kickers. I don't know. But she is definitely coming to win. But that Malik Neighbors situation is going to cause her some, at least some thought processes going into the rest of this season, not even just next week. Big Meat, who I will probably never get that engraved on the trophy. Luckily, Steve has taken that over. He has the trophy, so he can get Big Meat put on there, I guess, if Kevin wins it this year. But he takes care of CDs in fast fashion. Cleveland puts it on the defending champion Gray Squirrels, and both of those teams are at 2-2, and that was a monster matchup there. 160-152 is both of those teams deserve to win. We already talked a little bit about Tulsa squeaked it out over West Canaan, and looky here, the Hoopton Corn Jerkers, who again were projected to lose, I think, not by that much this time, but they come out and beat the Toledo Tube Steaks. Jordan Love has definitely come through for Hoopton, that's for sure. So there's kind of your recap for week 4. I haven't really had anyone talk to me about getting on the update here. So if that's the case, that's fine. I'll just keep filling in the time. But if anybody wants to, shoot me a note. We'll get on a Zoom. We'll record the screen and we'll take a look at it. And we'll mix up the format here a little bit. Going into week 5, again, keep in mind there's some bye weeks happening, so I'm certain these projections are not current, based upon people setting their lineups and or picking up replacements for players that are hurt or players that are on bye. So I wouldn't look too much into those, but we do again have a couple of old time rivals here at 3-1, San Antonio and Hoopton, and the winner of that one is going to kind of take command of all this. So they're going to have a leg up on pretty much everyone. So right now, San Antonio projected not to compete here, but again, I haven't looked at his lineup, and I'm sure he probably hasn't said it yet. West Canaan set to kill the Gray Squirrels here. Again, probably still a little premature for that. Tulsa is going to play Cleveland. And all these 2-2 teams, again, are playing each other, which I think everybody is 2-2 for the most part. Man, 3-2 sounds a lot better than 2-3, that's for sure. All these are pretty big matchups just right off the bat. We do have the team at the top in the Army playing the CDs, TDs, and just notice the projections on that as they sit right now. Army's got some roster overhaul to look at for week 5, that's for sure. And then again, old time rivals Leavenworth and Toledo going at it in week 5. So again, 14 weeks in the season, trying to hit 7 wins. That's all you're trying to do. If you kind of go with my pace, even if you end after week 8, if you're 3-5, you're fine. You're generally doing pretty darn well. And at that point, you start getting hot and you just see what happens. So I think that wraps it up for this week. Again, everybody, this is by far just my favorite league ever. And I have a feeling there's a lot of change that's going to come over these next several weeks. Things will sort of shake out, that's for sure. But I love the fact that it's pretty competitive and everybody's really appears to be just, really doing their best, despite the fact that some are having some bad luck. So you guys stay safe out there, and I will plan on updating you again after week 5.